Okay, here we go. Let's start the show. This is not a flight, but it is another video. Alright, this video, we're the Thrustmaster HOTAS4. Yeah. If you're here, I hope you learned something from this information I'm providing. It's pretty simple. And yeah, feel free to fast forward through the video. I'm going to be disassembling stuff and reassembling stuff, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Anyhow, this is my SimFab cockpit. I purchased it for racing. After that, later on, I purchased the hardware to convert it into a flight cockpit. When I say purchase the hardware, there's two mounting plates. The main plate, or the main bar that slides into the seat, and this plate that holds the pedals. Anyway, I can undo two freaking bolts here, slide that out. The stick and the pedals are combined. There's my wheel. I can just slip that end right on the bottom of the seat, and away I go. Anyway, that's not what this is about. This is about the throttle on the HOTAS4. If you want to do this, first thing you always want to do is make sure you don't have any freaking power connected to it. And I'm going to show some proof of my flight time. I'm at 205 hours on Xbox. And this HOTAS4 has less than 205 hours on it. Anyhow, the throttle is an issue. This hardware is like the low end of the mid-grade cockpit hardware. The HOTAS4, I think, is like a low end flight stick. Anyway, it does have mountable stuff on the bottom of it, so you can mount with bolts to the plates. I knew it came apart in two pieces. I feel fortunate that the wire is long enough to go under my leg when I'm sitting in the cockpit, because it's like the perfect length. If it was an inch shorter, it wouldn't work. And anyway, 205 hours into this flying with my throttle hasn't even been vertical for the full 205 hours. So anyway, this is what it does. I'm flying along. I need to use my left hand for something to control my free look, or push a button inside the cockpit, like raise my freaking landing gear. And so I'm flying along, hauling ass, and I let go of the throttle. And yeah, there's a catch in the middle. The catch helps, it should be there. But like all the way through it'll fall all the way down. The catch doesn't even catch it. And it sucks, man. It sucks to fly a helicopter and have to keep your hand on that throttle all of the time. So I'm going to be taking that apart and modifying it and making it better. One thing about this channel, if you're not aware, it's just raw footage, no bullshit. If I'm going to lie about something, I'll tell you about it. And another thing about this video is, even if you don't have your cockpit mounted vertical, it still you might like the feel of having a stiffer throttle, because that's basically all I'm doing is stiffening this up. So I'm going to set the camera down. That's the best angle I can get. Okay, the first thing I need to do is move this so it's more accessible. Second thing, I have a bolt here, hex head bolt. Alright, second hex head bolt. If I come in shadow. Alright. Throttle removed. So, on the bottom of the throttle here, we got 8 screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one in there. 6, 7, and 8. You just want to have yourself a small screwdriver kit, Phillips head, flat on the tip. I've tested this one fits the best in the screws, so that's what you want. We need to pull these 8 screws. I have already done this on another HOTAS4, so, which is a good thing because it will make this video go a little bit faster, possibly. When I was thinking about this, and I knew I was trying to think if I was going to be able to fix it and what kind of design might be in here. For some reason I was thinking it was probably like a cam and spring pressure system. But what's actually in here is just a pressure plate system. It kind of operates like a cam, but not quite. Like it partially rotates. And I don't know. I don't know if a cam system would be better or not, but what I learned from this is there's one thing that they could improve that would alleviate this issue from ever happening. And maybe their engineers are overthinking it. I don't know. It's pretty simple. So I got all the screws out. I'm going to gently get my fingers in here where I can get a hold of it, kind of, sort of. And pull it apart gently. As it comes apart, I'm going to look in there, see what's going on. All I have is this one wire. I'm going to wiggle it out of its seat. So there we go. Now I can move this freely on the wire because it's stuck on the wires threaded through it. So I'm going to set this up, put this here. Now I'm really handling it around fast there, but you want to be careful because these wires, you don't want to mess with any of those fucking freaking wires. And then there's some underneath here too. There's more. But yeah, you don't want to mess with those tiny, tiny wires. It's not easy to solder that stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna get annoying with the camera. Is it blurry? Like, yeah, all these wires, you don't want to mess with those wires. We only want to mess with the functioning mechanical pieces. So what we have here, the camera's gonna go upside down right here. I'm gonna flip it over because the lighting is better. What did that say? Okay, so what we have, this piece right here, we have this screw. This is one piece to this other screw. This is a pressure bracket plate thing, and it's applying pressure down, and it is squeezing right here. There's a spring-loaded pressure plate that's pushing against this plate from the bottom side. This rounded part is just the rounded part that rides inside of a groove to move the throttle back and forth. Anyway, more information than probably needed. So I'm going to put the camera back. What I need to do is I just need to pull this screw and this screw while applying pressure right here to the center of this, holding it down. Once the screws are out, and gently remove that away because there's spring-loaded hardware in there. So without messing with the wire too much, pull that screw, loosen that screw. I'm gonna apply the pressure with my thumb on the center, loosen this screw. All right, they're both loose. I'm gonna slowly let this pressure plate, oh, that one's still hung up a little bit. I'm gonna slowly raise this pressure plate. Okay, that comes off. Set this down. So what we have here, this is the pressure plate. And if you see in the middle, try to see if I can see it on the camera. There's a groove in here, right in the center. All right. Then we have this block. So there's a spring in here. Let me set this down. There's a spring in here. This block that's hollow on the inside underneath sits on top of the spring. Sits on top of the spring. So this is spring loaded. It's got grease on it, and I don't want to have to get more grease, and I don't really want to have it on my fingers either. But see, it's spring loaded. So what that does is it just pushes pressure against that. So the stick is mounted where the spring is, to the bottom of here. When you move the stick, this slides one direction or the other depending on if you move the stick up or down, and it gets hung up in the groove in the center. Easy enough. But the pressure on there is key from what I figured out. Okay, the first time I did this, I just removed all the grease and put it back together. I thought that would work, but it was the same. So I took it back apart, looked at it, tried to figure out what I thought I needed to do. The only thing I could figure out was this spring, as like most springs, the more you compress them or the longer you stretch them, depending on which way they're supposed to work. Usually if you stretch them, they get more resistance as they stretch, or as you squeeze them, they get more resistance as they crush. This spring feels like it's definitely getting more resistance the smaller it gets, shorter it gets. So what I decided was I needed to figure out how to make this spring compress more. I'm going to put the spring back inside the product here. There's 3 little prongs inside there where the spring set's centered. So what I figured out, I used to work on do it yourself stuff on motors and stuff when I was younger, and I have this old gasket material, make it yourself gasket material, and it's like cork board, but it's like cardboard, but it's like cloth, and it's really tough. It's really hard to tear unless it has a start. It's really pliable. Heat and oil resistant, I believe. Looks like it absorbs grease, I guess, but yeah, it doesn't like that. Anyway, I cut some strips off of this because it's just trash. Like, it's in a craft box. It's not even in an automotive, because that's what I use it for, is crafting. But anyway, RC stuff, crafting. So anyway, I'm going to take and I'm going to set that block back in here because it has grease on it. And hopefully I don't put it in upside down. Because it is directional. And it'll be really clicky if I put it in the wrong way. I should have paid attention to that. Anyway, so I have strips of that cardboard stuff, and I'm just gonna lay it in there as securely as I can. That flap to fold down and get this one in there right. Oh, come on, thing. Okay, just damn it. Slimy thing. So I'm just gonna cram it in there. So anyway, any garbage would work to do this, as long as it doesn't really compress more than, it's not too spongy. Yeah, let me try to test this again and see if I think I have it the right way. Honestly, don't think it should really matter. Anyway, so now I have this block full of garbage. Basically, I'm gonna set it right on top of that spring. Dead center, as center as I can. Put the clamp on top of it where it's supposed to seat. And I'm just gonna push it straight down in. Wipe some of the grease off of my fingers as I can. All right, so I'm pushing down pretty hard on my thumb. Get all this stuff lined up right. This one's lined up, so I'm gonna start that screw. This one is not lined up, so I'm going to get it lined up. Still not in the right place. Probably have to pull it all the way out to see. Get my screw back on my screwdriver. Put that one in. and snug them down. It's plastic, so don't tighten them. It's nice and snug. Alright, kind of test it a little bit. Be careful of the wires. Yep, it's going to be better. So I'm going to set this back down in here. Everything's snugged up, everything's good. I'm going to get this bottom plate. I'm going to try to be careful with the wire. I'm going to move it into place. This piece here has a little seating part here that seats into the notch. So I'll get it pretty much into place and then twist it and seat it in there. Okay, still being careful to not tug on wires. Go ahead, try to make sure everything's clear, because this wire right here is gonna try to get sandwiched, pinched in there. But when it goes together, it should go together. Simple. It's back. So now I just need to take the screws and drop some into the holes where they go. Grab the screwdriver. I always reverse until I get the click of the threads engaging, and then I snug. Do a little bit of a crisscross formation of a little bit maybe. Oops, one, dang it, two, oh, that almost went inside of it, you're lucky. This screw on the screwdriver, because this one goes down in there. Alright, maybe I finally got this freaking video done. 4th try. So, make sure my wire isn't twisted here. Go ahead and mount it back up. Sorry, my arm is probably going to be in the way a little bit. Dang it. Let's bolt the washer. It's really friggin' hot today. Alright, snug these up. Finish that, put the tools away. Okay, so what did I end up with? The throttle. You can hear like how stiff it is. It's a little bit loose on top. It might need more pressure soon. But yeah, it's so much better. I'll be able to use my left hand for something else. Anyway, there's just a slight, a little bit more resistance there. So if you're using your throttle horizontal, you might like the feel of this. But anyway, there we go. Hope you learned something from the channel. I fly helicopters in Microsoft Flight Sim 2024, PlayStation and Xbox, mostly on Twitch. You catch me on YouTube also. And yeah, take it easy. Peace and love. Watch out for the crazies.